Alright, I just put a video up. It was called Geological Theory Points to Biological. And this one's even going to be better. What I was doing in the last video is I was establishing that this is sandstone. It could be nothing but sandstone. It's always been sandstone. It didn't transition from a basalt intrusive or extrusive into sandstone. And it couldn't have. So I established that. Now we're going to move forward. And you don't want to miss this. What is this sandstone? And why is it like this? Why? Why does it have this pattern that is not an erosion pattern? That is not an erosion pattern. You'll find no erosion pattern like that on the planet anywhere in real time. Okay, so we've established absolutely this is sandstone. Okay, now their theory is, well, it's eroded basalt, which we know it can't be basalt, it's sandstone. And we know that that is not a wear pattern for any type of erosion on this earth that happens and occurs. Absolutely not. And they say, well, this was all underneath the surface where you couldn't see it. Well, that'd be great, super good. That's convenient. But you notice how everything else, like fossils and all that, that's underneath the surface, how it preserves it? It doesn't let it really get, I mean, it erodes some, but not to a decay to where we can't tell what it is. So that would be impossible according to even their theories, because stuff gets preserved, not, you know, into a pattern like this. This is not an erosion pattern. Actually, the pattern matches that of a bilipid membrane. Okay? That's why we have two layers, even of it. See that? Two layers, just like a bilipid membrane. And the pattern on this one, I've crawled up there, is the same as this one, which it should be. There's four layers to this. The bottom, this part, the inner part, the gooeyest aqueous solution here, the top part, and a layer that caps that. These are not just balls sticking up like this. They have a thin layer of a membrane over top of them. Okay? These are transfer channels. Or, okay, if they're not transfer channels, they're holes. But they're actually transfer channels. Why would those holes be there? Okay? Why would those holes be in this thing? There's one over there, one there, one there, one there. And some of them, I could notice they got knocked in. Notice how it tapers into the hole. Actually, these pieces are designed to be smaller, which makes sense, because it gets smaller as they taper into the transfer channel, the ion transfer channel. You see what I'm saying? Now let's look at something else. Around each and every one of these cells, or you see this edge, this mucosal edge. Okay, because this stuff's going to be made of some kind of collagen transitioning to a mucosal here, because this is what's going to glue it together. But it's also the weakest link, because this is going to be more fiber, or more of a denser, more structural than the stuff in here, and that's why you see it probably eroded out of it. Not totally. Some places right here, like right here, it's still there. Like where was I just pointing? Like right there, you can still see it. A lot of it's still in there. Some places the stuff is still there, not totally eroded out. But that layering, that stuff you see around the edges of it right there, tell me how sandstone did that. Identical to a membrane. How? How did it do a pattern that's identical to a membrane? How? I'm asking questions for Mr. Geologist to explain this. And why two layers? Why not more? Why is it compacted just like this and made to look like identical to a bilipid membrane? Why? Coincidence? I don't believe in coincidence. So let's take a look at something else. This is me 6 years ago harvesting the cell off that thing and bringing it home. Look at this. Look at down there. So you can see all that outside, that membrane across these. Look at this. See how well it's showing up? That don't happen with geology being identical to cells in our body. That's impossible. Okay, this is impossible. It's not geological. Okay, here's that cell I brought at home. Look at this. Each one of them are like that, with this surrounding this and with that nucleus center like that. I'm just trying to show you here. Look at the pattern on the top. I mean, you can see all this. I mean, this is incredible. I'm trying to make a video here that's wonderful. And here's the kicker. Not just this right here. You see that round balls below it and the gray stuff right here attached to it? Why would sandstone do that? Why? Why? Now let's look at the kicker. See See, I've got more evidence that it's biological in a membrane than they even have, not even close to what I have, as them saying, oh, it's just a sandstone from basalt erosion. You see all those bumps across the top of that, the skyline? All those bumps. You see that? Well, on all those bumps along through there, see all those rises? Those are balls, round balls in there. Hundreds of them. I've done video on it. You know why? Why would all those round balls, coincidentally round balls, be above sandstone that's coincidentally identical to a bilipid member with the transfer channels and everything, and the aqueous below that transitions into the next biology that's around the corner below that? Why would that be that way? Why all those balls? Well, see, these balls is a fluid-filled highway, interstitium, and this should be buttered up against it, because this here, the fluid-filled highway, is where all it's going to get stuff to go down through the transfer, the ion transfer channels, you see what I'm saying, through the lymphatic system. So this is what's going on with this stuff right here, in my opinion, because that's what identically in the body you would have with the interstitium above a bilipid membrane, where it's going to, the fluid-filled highway is going to be able to let the stuff travel, and it needs to go through the next layer down to this bilipid membrane to get to the physiology down below. Does that make any sense? So why or how did the Earth, through a geological process, create identical biology to the human body? How? Well, it's just a coincidence, Tyson. It happened all underneath where you can't see it. Yeah. Wow. There's my evidence. Just a little. I have more. I'm just going to stop there. That interstitium and all them balls being identical, and that to a body, and then tell me it's geological and the Earth accidentally made it. Accidentally. It's just a coincidence. Okay. I mean, you guys have eyes and a little bit of reasoning and common sense. Use some common sense. The theories that they come up with in some of this stuff are theories, and they don't hold water. They're saying this is erosion. How do you know it's erosion? Well, we can't see it. Then how do you know it happened underneath the surface? You're already going off the pretext of something you can't prove is true. So you've already set up something concrete, you're baselining something off of, that you can't prove. You see what I'm saying? All right. Have a blessed day, and that's just my question for geology. How do we have biology, identical biology, with all the stuff that should be there for a cell membrane, for interstitium, the fluid-filled highway, and let me show you it. This is interstitium, the fluid-filled highway, okay? All these balls, that are collagen balls, get left behind, and the fluid that flows in and out, and this has to be a like a lattice, so that it holds its position so it doesn't collapse. You understand what I'm saying? That's why you have the lattice for support. The webbing, that's why that's that way, and the fluid flows through it. And this is where the bilipid membrane would be down below this in order to get what it needs, the nutrients and stuff, to let it flow through the ion transfer channels to get to the next physiology, biology, or whatever it might need. It needs that. Does that make sense? So that's what I see with the evidence laying before me. Okay? All right. Hope you have a blessed day. Bye-bye now.